Story 1. You could be the kindest, coolest, most helpful, and faultless person in the world. There will still be people who do not like you. It is what it is. If you go through life trying to please everyone and worry about whether everyone likes you, you will be miserable. Story 2. The value of education is not in memorizing formulas, equations, dates, or writing essays. Each subject of knowledge unlocks a new way to think and transforms you into a stronger and more capable person. Diverse knowledge does not simply accumulate. It enhances your ability to think exponentially. Story 3. Deal with your emotions. Get therapy, learn how the brain works, understand how people function, and discover how to regulate yourself. Learn how to connect with others and resolve conflicts. Learn how to express your feelings and how to listen to others. Emotional literacy, or a lack of it, changes lives. Story 4. Find the best words to speak to yourself and surround yourself with people who use those words as well. Story 5. There are many important lessons I wish someone taught me while growing up. Do what makes you happy, or even what you think will make you happy. Do not fear what other people think of you. It's okay not to be okay. Accept when you are not feeling good and treat yourself with kindness, both internally and externally. Enjoy the little things. As you get older, this becomes more apparent and meaningful. Spend as much time with loved ones as you can. When they are gone, and you will never have another opportunity to do so. Learn the difference between money and currency. Story 6. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It may never arrive. Live now with an imperfect hairstyle, with an unfinished to-do list, and with trembling knees from fear. I realized that happiness is not loud. It is in the morning sun on your face and in the way someone remembers that you like caramel. Meaning is not somewhere out there. It is right in this moment. Do you want to live a meaningful life? Be attentive to the little things. Story 7. Be true to yourself and love yourself as you are. It is the only guaranteed way to find genuine, lasting happiness and peace in your life. Nothing good ever comes from existing according to what others expect you to be. That just results in never having lived at all, becoming a mere imitation of someone else's fantasy existence instead. Story 8. I had everything I owned stolen from me. I had to start over and rebuild all of my possessions in my life. This experience made me realize what is truly important. Everything in my life now comes from my own hard work and effort, which gives me a sense of ownership over my circumstances rather than seeing myself as a victim. I notice many people undervalue what they have and consume wastefully, which can be frustrating at times. It is not until you truly lose everything that you gain a real appreciation for what you possess. I recently got a car for the first time in 11 years. I value this car much more because I experienced life without one for so long. I am much happier now than I was before losing everything. The things that make me sad now are darker and more disturbing, but at the same time, I feel more grounded and appreciate the blessings we often take for granted. In the long term, loss can actually be a blessing if you allow it to foster a better appreciation for what you once considered a given in your life. It makes you aware of the fragility of life, prompting you to protect it better and avoid risks that could jeopardize it. I believe this is what is wrong in America. Too many people have never experienced a difficult life, so they take an easy existence for granted. Instead of appreciating the blessings we have, we find ourselves unhappy, despite having so much that others can only wish for. Story 9. I'm learning that we don't need all these things. The cute pillows, the books, magazines, various shoes, boots, blouses, knickknacks, blankets, and face creams. Story 10. If your father constantly disrespects your boundaries, cut him off. He doesn't deserve to share your happiness and sadness. Story 11. You can choose not to care about other people's opinions. I was surprised when I encountered this concept as a child. A cartoon called As Told by Ginger featured an episode with a bitter old woman who was being picked on by neighborhood children. Ginger tries to talk to her about what she is going through, and the woman responds, "I learned a long time ago not to care what other people think of me. The next time someone says something that bothers you, stop for a moment and ask yourself, who even is this person? Why should I care what they think?" Story 12. You choose the thoughts you focus on. If something keeps bothering you, write it in your notes. Solve your problems instead of placing blame on others who caused them. The only person who can fix it is you. Take small steps in the right direction, and your brain will create new pathways to happiness. Story 13. Alcohol is worse than you think, and that's okay. There is billions in marketing to make you believe otherwise. But to quote Ted Lasso, stop putting toxic substances in your body. It's foolish. Story 14. How your life turns out is mainly due to your own choices. The caveat is that not choosing is still a choice. Live consciously, choose well, and be honest, starting with yourself. Story 15. The world doesn't revolve around you, but you are a very important piece in this crazy puzzle of life. Be the change that you want to see, and if you are genuine, people will rally behind you without question. Story 16. Other than obvious things like murder, there are no wrong choices. Every choice leads to a different path, and you eventually look back and think, if I hadn't done that, I never would have met the people I met, and I would have missed out on experiences I can't imagine missing. Unless your choice is to never leave your home, whatever path your life takes ends up feeling like the right one. Story 17. Stop trying to do everything all the time. Figure out what is essential to you. Do less, but do it better. Story 18. Happiness isn't something you find. It's something you create. It's easy to think it will just happen if the stars align, but in reality, it's about choosing joy even in small, everyday moments. Story 19. Always be grateful for what you have at the moment because you never know when it will be taken away from you. Story 20. Your happiness is your responsibility. Never place your happiness in the hands of others. Everyone else is too busy making their happiness their own priority. People will come into your life who bring happiness. Welcome them, but don't rely on them. This includes significant others and your own parents. Being offended is a choice. It's a choice you make about others, and a choice others make about you. If you're offended, consider if it's worth it. If someone else is offended, that is a choice they made. You aren't required to carry the burden of other people's choices, not for 1 second. Of course, there are varying levels to this, but overall it helps keep things in perspective. In all honesty, some of the wealthiest people I know are the most insecure and miserable. Some of the poorest people I know are the happiest. True happiness comes from accepting who we are, recognizing our strengths and weaknesses, accepting our flaws, forgiving our past mistakes, and surrounding ourselves with others who feel the same. You are the average of the people you surround yourself with. If you're always around people who whine, complain, make excuses, and generally hate life, you're going to feel that way too. If you surround yourself with people who are kind, thoughtful, who work hard, accept challenges, and believe in self-improvement, you'll feel much better. Story 21. Money does not buy happiness. Most of the people I know who have it are miserable for various reasons. You can be rich in other ways. It's not giving up if you leave a relationship or marriage. It's accepting that it's not working. You are giving each other the time to heal and move on with someone who wants the same things. Story 22. Happiness is not love, success, or family. It is the ability to ignore others' expectations and live by your own rules. Story 23. When someone admits they are wrong, just move on. Criticizing them for their mistake teaches that admitting wrongdoing leads to negative feelings. You are conditioning them to develop undesirable traits. Story 24. Please don't change jobs frequently throughout your career and end up at 58 with no professional network, part-time contract work, and no retirement savings. Live well below your means. Story 25. You cannot make consequential decisions in your life based solely on what other people want. Those individuals expressing their opinions on what you should and should not do not have to live your life. You do. Story 26. Hanlon's razor states that one should not attribute malice to that which can be adequately explained by ignorance. While it may sound harsh, it's important to remember that most people do not have the same information as you. Often, when someone's actions negatively affect you, it is not because they intend to harm you. They simply may not be thinking of you and are preoccupied with their own issues. Most situations can be resolved through effective communication. Story 27. Judging others is a reflection of your own insecurities. The more you judge, the more insecure you usually are. Story 28. Stop overthinking things. You could imagine situations a million times in your head, but they will usually not work out the way you want or expect. Just get things done and save yourself the stress. Story 29. Fear is crippling, and most things aren't as intimidating once you're doing them. I let fear control a lot of my life, and if I had a second chance, I wouldn't give it so much power. Story 30. Your life means nothing if you spend it trying to please everyone. People will forget who you were. They will only remember if you were truly yourself. Story 31. Comparison is the thief of joy. It is simple to say but harder to internalize. However, it is totally worth the effort. Story 32. While travel books and programs are wonderful, if you truly want to understand the larger world, travel as much and as often as possible, even if it is just within your state, province, or region. Story 33. Being openly and confidently yourself would normalize much of what people consider weird or taboo. Story 34. If you want to form a habit, focus on what you enjoy about the experience of actually doing the habit rather than the end result. Story 35. Your job and management do not care about you and will quickly replace you when you are gone. You owe them nothing, but you owe your family and those who love you everything. Spend your time wisely and do not waste it at a job. Do not work unnecessary overtime. Use your time to be with your family or to pursue your own interests. Story 36. Stop buying unnecessary items. You have to work many hours just for something that you will eventually tire of. It's not worth it. Your time is more valuable. Story 37. I know money makes things easier, but it isn't everything. I know a few people who make a lot and are miserable. You can lose more of yourself than money will ever buy back or replace. Be happy. Settling isn't always bad. Story 38. Making lighthearted jokes or making fun of someone is not funny. It doesn't matter who does it or in what context. Story 39. All abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence, also known as a growth mindset. My life changed when I shifted from thinking, I cannot do something, to, I have not learned it yet. Story 40. Respect is essential, surpassing both religion and politics. I identify as a liberal conservative and a practicing Catholic, attending daily Mass when possible. This perspective has enabled me to understand people's views from various backgrounds. I've gone to a bar with a Protestant university acquaintance to discuss our differing viewpoints on various issues. Story 41. It is perfectly fine to be vulnerable with your partner on a deep, emotional, intimate level. Holding everything in out of fear or insecurity will cause more long-term harm to the relationship. Story 42. Being your true self will bring you more peace and happiness than being liked for a false persona you create to please others. Story 43. There are no saints and no damned, only you. You make the choices you make. None are truly right and none are truly wrong. What matters is that they are yours. Story 44. The world does not concern itself with you. Live your life as you wish and ignore those who do not care about you. Story 45. Death always finds you, operates by its own set of rules, and doesn't care about what you want, what your plans are, or if you are ready to die. While you work, struggle, hope, and scheme, death walks beside you every step of the way. One slip can send you careening down a mountain path. One cough can tear your aorta. One moment of inattention might leave you tangled in jagged metal. A single trip to a grocery store behind a coughing fellow shopper can result in a fight for breath as darkness closes in. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how many possessions you own, what you have achieved, what you still hope to achieve, or whether your family loves or hates you. It doesn't matter whether the world sees you as a hero or a villain. Death will collect you without warning and without delay, deciding when your time in the living world is over. So work hard and maybe you'll get lucky and avoid death as you climb. Could happen. Nothing gleams quite so brightly as the pinnacle of a pyramid built of bodies. Go for it. Just remember that while you grind, time is passing. It's better to think about what is truly important before it's too late. Death takes a swing at you every day. Don't wait too long to find an answer. The odds are in death's favor, and it never stops grinding. Story 46. In the words of Desiderata, with all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Strive to be happy. Story 47. If you have a negative feeling about your new manager, promptly update your resume and begin interviewing. Additionally, that lack of energy could indicate early signs of prediabetes. Story 48. There are aspects within your control and aspects outside of your control. Focus only on the aspects within your control. Story 49. The best relationships are built on one simple truth: not pretending to have it all together. When people talk to me, they often see a bit of themselves in me. Maybe it's because I'm honest about my challenges, the things I'm still figuring out. This honesty makes it easy for them to be themselves as well. Story 50. Education is not just an academic pursuit. I wish people genuinely enjoyed the process of gaining knowledge and becoming informed and enlightened. Story 51. Be yourself and stop worrying about what other people think. Most people aren't interested in you at all. Don't overcomplicate or overthink things. We create many of our own problems. Story 52. Don't waste time worrying about something you cannot control. Avoid borrowing trouble. Do the best you can with what you have and let go of the worry. You will deal with any potential problem if and when it happens. Worrying about it does nothing but age you and robs you of a peaceful life. Story 53. It's not just nonsense. You really do get to choose a new path or decision if the current one isn't going well. If you are breathing, you can start a different journey or adventure if you choose to. Story 54. Learning to truly understand yourself is essential to confront your issues and consistently work on becoming a better person. The simplest way is by understanding the human brain, recognizing its uniqueness, and understanding how that impacts those around you. I wish it were as easy as everyone responsibly trying a hallucinogenic substance just once. But it's not. Still, that could help many more people than you might think if they could get past the stigma. Story 55. I believe it would be beneficial if more people were reminded that life is not linear. You do not have to follow a perfect timeline to feel fulfilled. Sometimes, the best things happen when everything seems to be falling apart. Story 56. Letting go of your ego is essential for relationships, whether in business, family, or other areas of life. Ego can make every confrontation feel like a personal competition, leading to sabotage of the situation. When you let go of your ego, which often involves intense emotions, you can communicate more effectively. Explore possible options to improve the situation or relationship. Consider the consequences of your words or actions. Envision multiple possibilities, choose the most reasonable option, and practice patience. Story 57. Every interesting aspect of a human being is in their personality. Beyond that, we are simply biological entities. Story 58. Learn to cook. Learn how money works, especially compound interest. I don't care what you do for a living. Knowing basic financial management and banking theory, at least to the point where you can get through an article in a reputable source, will make your life considerably easier. As John Cougar Mellencamp said, forget about all that macho stuff and learn to play guitar. It's okay to party, but lay off the hard substances. Stick to beer, wine, and marijuana. If you absolutely must indulge, limit yourself to beer, wine, and marijuana, but make sure to hand your car keys to someone responsible enough to avoid even that. Story 59. Life has no inherent meaning, but your life means whatever you want it to mean, and that's a positive aspect. It's a blank slate that you can fill however you see fit. Only the things and people that matter to you hold significance. So, do not worry about what others expect or think of you, and just pursue whatever makes sense to you. Story 60. There are two types of things in the world: things you can change and things you cannot change. You should not worry about the things you cannot change, as it is not useful. You also should not worry about the things you can change, because you have the ability to change them. Consider what you do and do not change with care, But once a decision is made, it falls into the cannot change category. Story 61. Every villain is the hero of their own story. It is easy to portray someone as bad. However, it is difficult to understand the thoughts, feelings, and motives that lead them to act in such a way. Story 62. Finding a person or people or living creatures who love you unconditionally and whom you love back is truly all we need. Yes, we need money to some extent to cover our needs and for some fun, but in excess? No, not if you have actually found love. Story 63. Start thinking about your retirement while you are young. It is the best thing that will happen to you if you plan it. If you cannot invest, try to pursue a career that offers retirement benefits. Story 64. Stop chasing money and spend time with your children. When they are grown and gone, the money won't make you happy. Story 65. Nobody notices that blemish on your chin, or that your butt sticks out, or that your nose is crooked. We are all too concerned about our own issues to worry about yours. Story 66. I read in the Book of Joy by the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu that to be happy, we need to do 3 things. Practice gratitude, practice compassion, and find the silver lining in every situation. This worked well for me so far. Story 67. Just be kind until they earn your respect or kindness. Your head will explode if you are always getting angry at trivial matters. Story 68. I have learned that focusing on progress, not perfection, makes life much more fulfilling. Embracing the journey and being kind to yourself along the way leads to greater happiness and meaning than chasing unattainable ideals. Story 69. Intellectual empathy is not the same as emotional empathy. Just because I recognize someone's feelings doesn't mean that I am feeling with them in the moment. It is a way to address my thinking instead of my feeling. Story 70. It's not only okay, it's sometimes really helpful to just not care. Don't worry about the small things. Story 71. True fulfillment comes not from accumulating external things or achieving predefined milestones, but from the quality of your connections and the depth of your presence in the present moment. Story 72. You have a limited number of days to live. If you subtract the days when you were a child and had little control over your life, or when you are elderly and have minimal influence, you lose several decades from the total. For most of the years you have left, you can subtract approximately 260 days per year if you have a full-time job. Now subtract the weekends when the weather is poor, or when you have family, work, or social obligations. The next time you have a good weekend free, recognize how special and rare that is. Then enjoy it as you please. I apply this type of thinking to everything. It may feel like you have a lot of time to do things, but consider how many days you truly have. Story 73. Sleep well and sleep more. It is free, reduces pain, provides good dreams, and sometimes brings ideas to solve big problems. When you wake up, it delivers a small boost of dopamine and a sense of hope and motivation to live. Story 74. Live and let live. Focus your energy on spreading love and positivity. If you can't muster that, at the very least, don't add to negativity. Story 75. Anger, jealousy, and hate can make you unwell. Cruel thoughts and actions will poison your ability to experience true love and joy. Story 76. Life is a tragedy when seen up close, but when you look at it from afar, it appears to be a comedy. Charlie Chaplin. Story 77. I am generally happier with life since I stopped seeking external validation. How I feel about myself is more important than how others feel about me. Story 78. Your employer is not your friend or looking out for you. To them, you are just a number on the payroll list. Story 79. Do not expect anyone else to be or think like you. You will set yourself up for disappointment each time. Story 80. If you want something and you are not getting it at the expected time, there are probably 3 criteria set up by God. 1. Yes. 2. Yes, but not now. 3. No, I have something better for you. Story 81. Being away from social media and familiar people provides peace and allows you to reflect on your life and consider ways to improve yourself. Story 82. Opinions are like genitalia. Everyone has them. However, unless someone shows interest in them, keep them to yourself. Story 83. Your soul came here for love, not for conflict. We waste so much of our limited time on earth seeking validation, arguing, proving, and pretending. True meaning comes when you slow down, listen to your heart, and offer kindness to yourself first, then to others. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to feel, to grow, and to love deeply. Story 84. Do not under any circumstances ever purchase anything unless you have 6 times the amount of money available in earned and saved cash. Unfortunately, no individual between the ages of 10 and 24 will ever read or apply these words. Now, back to our world of over 5 billion unhappy citizens. Story 85. If everyone around you doesn't like you, maybe look inside and find out why. I was that annoying classmate back then, and nobody liked me much. Reality hit hard later, and I still struggle with it to this day. Story 86. The absurdity of politics, borders, and money is striking. Don't get me wrong. I am involved in politics for what I believe in, and I will not enter any country illegally because I think it's fun. However, when I discuss these topics with people, I often find myself thinking, humans are so well organized that we forget politics and borders are man-made, and we could eliminate them if we remembered we created them. I also think we cannot live without money, but the balance in your bank account is just a number stored somewhere in the small card hidden in your phone or computer. I understand it's not that simple, but objectively, we are giving too much importance to the things we created, causing us to forget that we are animals. We are meant to eat, drink, and sleep. Story 87. Jesus of Nazareth rose from the dead and ascended into heaven to sit at the right hand of the Father. He will return at the end of the age to grant eternal happiness to those who have done good, while those who have done evil will be cast into hellfire forever. This life is ultimately a matter of choice. Story 88. You are responsible for yourself. Put down the bomb, get off your rear end, and go earn a living. If you are not making enough money to live the way you want, stick with something long enough to become proficient and acquire valuable skills. Stop vilifying anyone with savings as greedy and heartless. Convincing yourself that the situation is unfair only keeps you down and out. If your life improves, it won't be because you proved that the world is unfair. It will begin the moment you decide to take action to make today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. Crying, whining, and declaring yourself special through victimhood will not lead to progress. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.